I overheard my fiance's friends talking about how he's settling for me. So I, 25 female, have had a crush on my fiance ever since we were 6. I would ask him out through friends every so often until I turned 15. Everyone around us, including him, knew that I had a huge crush on him, and the fact that he never really said no, he would always either respond with, "I know she has a crush on me." Him never giving me a clear answer just fueled my delusions. I know that it wasn't his fault and I was just being crazy. I never really got much attention from guys except a few, whereas he got tons and tons of attention from girls. Until the time I turned 23 and he turned 24, I hadn't had any boyfriend, whereas he had. He'd been in around 13 relationships that I know of. Some might have been more serious than the others. But yes, so 2 years back, we met again in a different city where we were both working, and we started hanging out together as he didn't really know anyone in that city. One thing led to another, and we started dating. Over time, we got quite serious, and then just a week back, he proposed and I said yes. Yesterday, while at our engagement party, I was in the washroom from where I could hear the conversation outside in the parking area because of a window present in the washroom. I overheard a few of his friends discussing how my fiancé is just settling for me, as I would worship him and do whatever he would ask of me. This has me rethinking our entire relationship, as I've always internally felt as if he wasn't really in the relationship as much as I was, because of little things like how he wouldn't hold my hand on the sidewalk, or he would just respond to my "I love you" with "thank you." Oof. Oh man. That hurts. I love you, wife. Thanks, man. Even the proposal, I had told him that I wanted to get married by 26. I wonder whether he actually wanted to marry me, or was it just me pressuring him? He's a conventionally attractive guy, whereas I'm slightly below average, and I don't even have the personality to make up for it. I really love him, but I don't think he loves me the same. Ever since yesterday, everything has been numb. I have no idea what to think or even do. I don't know what to do. In the comments, Unoriginal Nam says, "Similar things were said when my parents got married, as friends thought that my father could do better. But it didn't matter, as my father cherished my mother. Even after 45 plus years of marriage, they cherish each other. You're young. You have plenty of time to find the right person. Have the strength to spend your life where you are cherished, not tolerated. Only you can answer this question. In this relationship, are you cherished or are you tolerated?" Huihu69 says, "Man, listen. Have the guts to call it off if you feel even a slight bit unappreciated. Engagement or not, do you want to spend your whole life doubting whether he is settled, or was it of his own choice? Maybe start the conversation by asking if you think he feels forced into marrying you, and then take it ahead. But whatever be the outcome, do let him know that at the end of the conversation, that you overheard his friends talking shit about you, and based on the reaction you get, you will know if he is settling for you or if he wants to be with you forever. And be kind to yourself, yeah? So what if he's better looking? Don't call yourself average. That's where you lose the game. Manifest the confidence within yourself." And Wine or Wine says, "A guy who responds with thank you to your I love you, and you decided to marry him? What the hell? You're in for a sad, sad married life. Leave him. Be bold and dump him now. No friends would ever say shit like this about their friend's partner unless their friend himself regularly bitches about you. Run." The rest of the story is kinda like icing on the cake for this one. But for me, the main problem is he said, "Thank you" to your "I love you." What is going on with that? Is that not crazy? You're married to someone and they don't say "I love you" back? You need to have a sit down with him yesterday, OP. There is something seriously going wrong in this relationship, and I feel like you need to get to the bottom of it. And now, on to the update. Okay, so firstly, I'd like to thank you all for your advice. So the day after posting this, I met up with my fiancé. On meeting him, I told him how I've been feeling and didn't mention the fact that I overheard his friends. On hearing that, he became emotional and admitted to not being attracted to me physically, but liking me as a person. It honestly did hurt, as in my head, I was expecting him to say something along the lines of him loving me no matter what others thought. He still wants to marry me, and I still love him. He has promised to try harder and be more present in the relationship. He really has been trying these past few days. He texts me every single day and also reciprocates my I love yous. Also, I told my mother and grandmother about everything that has been happening, to which their response was more on the lines of, I should be grateful that someone like him is going for someone like me, and once we get married, he will change over time. Now this has put me in a tougher position, but honestly speaking, I think I'll just go ahead with the wedding, as the other option is arranged marriage, which I'm not really keen on. And he's really started putting in effort. I do believe that he will actually fall for me gradually. In the comments, Look Who's Talkin' says, Babe, go back and read your post again. He admitted to not being physically attracted to me, but liking me as a person? This is your first red flag. He might be a good person and a good friend, but marriage is also about physical intimacy. The ultimate decision is yours. I know that it will break you if you decide to move on. Getting married is a huge decision. Rethink your pros and cons, please. Seabelt says, Sorry, but one tight slap from me to your mum and grandmum. It seems that they just want you to get married and brush off their responsibility. I made the same mistake of ignoring red flags, which impacted me so badly, and regretting it. Don't do the same mistake. KFC in my belly says, It's okay. OP won't be listening to any of us. She has been conditioned heavily with the shitty trauma that is obviously visible. I hope happiness for OP in the future. Sadly, love life is the last that will give her this. Still, I hope that she finds refuge. This situation is only giving me a future scenario of sadness and guilt and lots of heartbreak. Dreaded Anxiety says, Icky. Girl, what the hell? As I'm Indian and actually understand all the nuances, girl, what the hell? If she could convince her parents for a love marriage, even if it's the same social class, caste, and religion, it would have been fine had she broken up with him. Maybe a few months of the cold shoulder, and that would be it. But now, she's in for a rough ride. He's gonna show his true colors, have flings, and she'd have no one but herself to blame. Should have gone for an arranged marriage. If she thinks she lacks beauty, she has no idea how much she lacks brains. There is a lot of conditioned low self-worth and pressure on the both of them to marry right now. But yeah, it does kind of sound like he's just going to use her for marriage so that he looks good in the eyes of the public and then just cheat on her. Like, that's the vibe that I'm getting from this, and I hope that OP does break up with him. I don't know. I don't have the answer for this one. Good luck, OP. Our next post is by user NoDirt6830, titled, Ex-wife and I slept together. Hey guys, long post, but the details are important. My ex, 47 female, and I, 45 male, have been divorced for 3 years and have 2 sons, Wyatt and Jack. Our split was mainly due to our kids and the different parenting styles. My ex is a genius. She's a PhD and a research scientist, while I'm an analyst. She grew up with colder parents who instilled strict routine and discipline to be successful, whilst I grew up with a very close relationship to my parents who encouraged forming my own path in life. These two backgrounds came head to head when it came to our own kids, especially when they started school. My ex wanted them to be completely focused on academics, while I wanted them to live a little and enjoy being kids and have them figure things out on their own. After months of fighting, we decided that it wasn't going to work. Our split was amicable, and she's actually paid way more child support than she had to, but she insisted on it. We even spend Christmases and birthdays all together for the sake of our kids. Our sons primarily live with me by their own choice, and while my ex does see them about once a week, my kids are teenagers now, and sometimes they want the weekends to themselves. My older one, Wyatt, has said to me that sometimes he feels like it's my ex's own fault because of how hard she was on them. I try to remind them that she's still their mother and she was doing what she believed was best, and at the very least, he owes her respect. This brings us to a few days ago. Since both kids are on break, my ex tries to stop by on the weekdays to try and see them more. She stopped by, but both kids were out with friends for the evening. She had come all the way, so I invited her inside for a drink. We were just chatting, and eventually we started looking at old baby photos of our kids. We had a lot of laughs until we got to one picture. It was a picture of when my sons were 6 and 2, and I had them both up on each shoulder, and the three of us were laughing. My ex just started sobbing out of nowhere and started apologizing to me for everything. I was really confused, but I hugged her and told her that she only did what she thought was best and that she shouldn't apologize for trying to be an involved parent. We stayed there for a while, but neither of us wanted to let go. Eventually, she looked up at me, and her look reminded me of when we were dating. We started kissing, and things escalated. It was like the 12 years of our marriage came flooding back, and during, my ex kept tearing up and telling me that she loved me. She quickly left before our kids could come back, and we've been silent until today. I got a text from my ex asking if we could meet up alone to talk. What the hell do I do here, guys? On one end, both my ex and I still care about each other, but on the other, this whole thing could be a huge shock to not only our kids, but the rest of our families as well. In the comments, Perfect Delivery 509 says, "You sound like a lovely person. Now, as far as reconciliation, because I feel like there's much more than you're mentioning in this post, you guys got divorced because she was hard on the children and was the stereotypical Asian parent view, whereas you chose a more relaxed, let them be kids approach. Normally, you want a mixture of both to instill good study habits as well as independence. So my question is, at this meeting that you'll attend, what happens if you two get together? Will there be compromise? Is she only coming back because she realizes her kids don't talk to her anymore? What has she been up to the last 3 years? I feel like there is more being withheld, because jumping to divorce over a compromise of parenting styles seems very odd." Karina Vet says, "Whether or not you'll give it another shot is entirely up to the two of you. Since you split amicably and obviously still care about each other, it's really just going to come down to whether or not you feel like your differences are irreconcilable. But I will say this, if you do give things another shot, take it very, very slow. You will also have to run a balancing act of when you tell your kids. Do it too early, and you risk things going badly and it blowing up in your faces, and do it too late, and you risk your kids feeling betrayed for being kept in the dark. Good luck?" And Frosty Lawyer says, "Just go see her and figure it out. You definitely still have strong feelings for her and her for you. Your kids are older and would appreciate more that you tried than not trying. They have multiple things and events, like graduation, wedding, childbirth, etc., in the future that would be much easier if you two were together for them. Don't use the kids as an excuse. Do you want to be with her? It's definitely worth exploring. My parents are back together 45 years after they divorced, and it pissed me off for a while because of all the drama that I lived through with the step-parents at the time. I am 50 now. You both sound like great people that both love your kids. If you want to see how trauma affects kids, go read my posts. Go for it. Nothing is guaranteed." I think that advice is pretty spot on, honestly. Take it slow, but not too slow, and make sure to keep the kids in the loop if and when you guys do get back together. If you want to be with her, not just for the sake of the kids, then that is a worthy cause, and it's worth exploring if you're careful about it, OP. Thank you and good luck. And now, onto the update, 8 days later. Hi everyone, I know it's been a little bit, but I have an update to my last post. First of all, thank you to everyone. You guys gave some great advice and really helped me prepare for the conversation with my ex. I met up with my ex 2 days after getting the text from her. I went over to her apartment and we had a great talk. About a year after the divorce, my ex actually went to see a therapist to sort of get an understanding of where her life was. As she kept going and discussing things from her childhood, she realized she was doing the same things to our kids that her parents did to her. Things that ultimately made her resent her parents, which was why she was actually closer to my mum than her own. She teared up a bit and told me she never stopped loving me, and that regardless of what a document says, I would always be her husband. My ex admitted that on the night that the incident happened, she knew the boys would be out and she wanted to spend some time with me alone. When we started looking at old pictures, she got overwhelmed. She told me how much she missed me and would do anything that it took to make it up, and at the very least be partners again. I told her that I always cared about her and that I missed her too, and that I still felt something for her. At the end of the evening, we both came to terms that we still loved each other and would give it another shot. The terms were that we take it slow and regularly attend couples counseling, as well as not to tell the kids yet. Since then, we've been spending almost every day together, and we actually had our first couples counseling session. It went pretty well, even after everything that happened, and my ex and I were really able to establish the grounds of our new/old relationship. We are going to be going to more sessions, but it's a good start. I actually hosted a family dinner a couple of nights ago. While our boys still don't know about us, I made the excuse that it would be good for the four of us to have a meal together. And honestly, my wife really has changed. She was more open with the kids and was more interested in hearing about things like sports, hanging out with friends, and hobbies. My kids responded really well, and for the first time in a while, our sons were enthusiastically engaging and connecting with their mom. She also planned a trip to the zoo for the four of us like we used to when the boys were young. I think my older one got a little bit suspicious and rolled with it, but the fact that we have co-parented so well has been a great cover. Things are good now, and I think deep down neither of us truly fell out of love. I think we would have eventually found our way back to each other regardless of what happened that night. Thank you again for all of your kind words and support. In the comments, Reasonable Ad says, I hope they're doing well now. From what OP shared about the kids, the one that says it's the mum's own fault for how hard she was on them, I think the ex-wife has a lot of work to do on earning the boys' forgiveness and trust. I do hope some family counseling happened. Yeah, I really would have liked to see some advice that she attend family therapy and work on her relationship with her kids first. Hard to see just how deep it ran, but if OP's home is their safe space from corrosive criticism and controlling behavior, it would hurt to have that snatched away. Not gonna lie, I kinda hate it when someone has to be told, yeah, all those things that your mum did to you that you hate, your kids hate it when you do it to them. Stop it. I mean, it's great that she got there eventually, but doing it before damaging your relationships would be super. Yeah, it's everyone's responsibility to end the cycle of abuse. Sadly, most don't see that until it's too late. If I have children, which I don't know if I would, I really hope that I'd be a good dad. Agreed. But as a parent, it is so hard to switch off something that seemed normal to you growing up. Obviously, I don't hit my kids like I was spanked, but sometimes I'll find myself shouting when a normal volume would work so much better. At those times, I do something my kids never did, except sarcastically. I apologize to my kids. I tell them shouting was wrong and I shouldn't have done it, along with an I'm sorry for XYZ. Fuck generational trauma. OP sounds like a great guy for bridging the gap between him and Tiger Mom over here. But if she is genuinely willing to change for the kids and stop that cycle of abuse that she was perpetuating onto them, then, the more the merrier. Let 1,000 blossoms bloom, as far as I'm concerned. I really wish they came back with another update to tell us how it's been going, but that doesn't appear to be the case. All I can hope is that it's going fantastically, and I'm going to delude myself that it is. So thank you for the story, OP. That was beautiful, the way that you've handled this. Our next post is by user Livid Charlotte, titled, Am I the asshole here for being very angry with my younger brother for what he said about my girlfriend? I, male 22, have been dating my girlfriend, female 21, for 4 years, and I love her about as much as it's possible to love anyone. I honestly melt inside at just the thought of her. My girlfriend speaks with a stutter, which I know she is self-conscious about. Yesterday, I was chilling at home with my girlfriend. I live at home, but she had to come visit. And at the same time, my brother, who is 16, had some friends over, and they were playing video games in his room. I also have a sister who is 18. My girlfriend went to the bathroom, and when she came back, she was crying. And when I asked her why she was crying, she told me that on her way back from the bathroom, she was walking past my brother's room, and she overheard him saying to his friends that I had this stupid girl who doesn't know how to speak with me, and that he doesn't know why I would be with a weird girl who can't talk properly. I am very angry about this, and after my girlfriend had gone home, I immediately told my parents about what my brother had said. My parents just said that my brother is just a kid, and they called my girlfriend too sensitive and claimed that it wasn't a big deal. I absolutely lost my temper with my parents, as well as my brother, who I called a nasty, disrespectful pig. I then went to my girlfriend's house and stayed with her and her cats because I was so angry with my parents. My parents have been texting me saying that I'm overreacting and continuing to say that my brother is just a kid. In the comments, your brother is a kid, and childhood years are for making mistakes and learning consequences. I'm sorry your parents reacted the way they did, because it sounds like they make excuses for him and are not preparing him for adulthood. I doubt you'll change them, so do what you think is right. It sounds like for now, the consequences for your brother is an altered relationship with you. I would express to your parents that 16 is closer to adult than child, and you are very disappointed at your brother, but more so their reaction. Also, I don't mean to stir the pot, but is it possible that your parents brushed it off because he's echoing stuff that they say? By the way, mum of 22 and 18-year-old, so semi-expert, not the asshole. And OP says, if my parents had been talking about her like that, then I'm moving out permanently. Another commenter says, oh, that's nice. Your parents enabling their asshole 16-year-old son to be a nasty piece of work. You're right to be pissed with him and them. They should be knocking that on the head. He's old enough to know better. You're not the asshole here, but your family, minus sis, are and should be ashamed of themselves. OP says, my sister honestly looked like she was ashamed at our parents and brother. Another commenter says, one thing to keep in mind here is that she overheard him talking to his friends and did not say this to her face. Although the parents blowing this off is suspect. How do they feel about your girlfriend's stutter? Have they made comments about her behind your back that your brother may have overheard, and that's why they're hesitant about confronting him? I feel bad for your girlfriend. Having a stutter is hard enough to deal with and to be self-conscious of, let alone having someone close to you mocking her. OP replies, it's very odd because my dad had always been nice to her and my mum has actually been very affectionate towards her, so for them to disregard her feelings seems very two-faced. If my parents have been saying mean things about her, then I'm definitely moving out. Just a bit of a failure of parenting all around, and I am very curious as to what they say when you do confront them about this. You definitely need to ask why they haven't gotten on top of this with him. And maybe have a chat with your brother too about where it's coming from, and specifically, if he's heard the parents say these things as well, and if that's why he feels like he can say it. This is all incredibly sus, and I'm keen to see what your outcome is here. But for me, definitely not the asshole here, OP. And now, onto the update, 9 days later. Thank you for all your comments on my original post. When I had calmed down, I took some of the advice that I had received in the comments, and I approached my brother to talk to him calmly about what he said, and my girlfriend decided to come with me. Anyway, my brother did apologize to the both of us. We asked him to explain honestly why he said it. My brother admitted that he was trying to look cool in front of his friends. My brother also told us that these same friends had been teasing him for not having a girlfriend after the girl that he asked out rejected him. I asked if he was jealous of me because I have a girlfriend, and he admitted that he was jealous, especially after he got teased after being rejected. Anyway, me and my girlfriend discussed the situation with my brother, and we explained to him that these boys are clearly not true friends, judging by the way they are acting. We further explained to him that he shouldn't feel like he has to act cool to impress people, and we also reminded him that saying mean things about someone is definitely not cool. We advised my brother to stick up for himself and to not hang out with these people who tease him, and that he should report them if it gets worse. My brother did apologize to me and my girlfriend. Some people in the comments suggested he might have heard my parents commenting on the way my girlfriend speaks. However, my brother insisted that this is not the case. I don't know whether to believe him about that or not. After the chat we had with my brother, I told my parents about how disappointed I was with them and about how me and my girlfriend had just done what they should have. I am extremely disappointed in my parents, as I really trusted them to be better than this, and unfortunately, things have not changed with them. My parents were angry with us for talking to my brother about this, and they claimed that we were both overreacting. I made it clear to my parents that actually, they are underreacting. I told my parents that they should be thanking us for doing the job that they can't be bothered to do. Unfortunately, my sister has also been having some trouble with my parents because she tried to talk to them about this situation. Because of the way that my parents are acting, I'm going to move in with my girlfriend and her cats permanently. Tomorrow, I'm taking my girlfriend on a surprise vacation for Valentine's Day, as I know my girl loves a nice surprise. In a couple of weeks, when we get back from the vacation, I will move in with her, and my sister is also moving in with us. Me and my girlfriend have both told my sister that when we move in together, she's welcome to come, as my girlfriend's place has a spare room, and my sister was very eager to accept the offer to get away from our parents. My girlfriend and my sister are very close, and honestly act like sisters themselves, so the three of us living in the same place will be great. My girlfriend also assured my brother that she forgives him, and he is still welcome to visit. In the comments, your parents are reacting that way because they are the ones who have been shit-talking about your girlfriend when you're not around. Your brother denied it, but it's obvious. OP says, it does seem like it, unfortunately. If that's the case, I hope my brother will trust us enough to tell us that eventually. Another commenter says, make a point to stay involved and check in on your brother. He may feel left out with both of you moving and being left with the parents, and that can easily turn to resentment. And OP says, yeah, I'm definitely going to keep spending time with him. And someone else asks, does the rest of OP's extended family know what happened? And OP says, I do have aunts and uncles as well as cousins who have mostly supported me in this situation. Gwynazin says, quote, your brother is a kid, and childhood years are for making mistakes and learning consequences. This is what always frustrates me, reading or hearing a parent downplay when their kid does something bad with the they're just kids excuse. Yes, that's why you're supposed to be parenting them right now. But I'm glad everything outside of the parents is working out for OP and his girlfriend and her cats, and that the sister is free to move into their apartment with him and his girlfriend and her cats. His girlfriend and her cats sounds like a lovely person. And that's all I have for you guys today. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.